Uncle Chet, Chester first, was in the Battle of the Bulge during the Second World War. And he was watching the boats come down, and he was up there, being the guard. And when he wanted to be the guard, to watch, whatever you want to call him. So they would, trying to think how all of this happened. But anyway, he was watching, and he watched this one boat get machine gun, and there was a guy in there that he knew. So, and we're talking middle of winter. He threw his gun down, threw his jacket off, dove in the water, and went out there and brought 3 guys back, swimming back and forth.
Wow.
Now, Uncle Chet didn't weigh 110 pounds. He wasn't a very big fella.
Oh, he's tiny?
Oh. Yeah. He was run of the litter. Him and Uncle Al.
Oh.
But no, so he had got shot in the leg and kept on going.
And that's how he got the Silver Star?
In his purple little heart.
Purple little heart. Grandpa First.
Yeah.
Grandpa First was in World War II.
And he was on a, what they call a Liberty ship, which wasn't a very safe ship, but they were fast and they got around.
Oh, in the Navy?
And they used them for cargo ships and troop transports and things like that when they needed. Because Kaiser, pretty sure it was Kaiser, but I think it was, come up with an idea. Instead of building these ships and everything is stacked there, and then you got to put them on and weld them up, he was building them in sections.
Oh.
So he would have the back section built, the middle section built, the next middle section, and the other one. And then they'd ship them someplace where they could put them together. They'd put them all together, rivet them, and then weld them. And then that ship would be done. Everything was in there. And they just have to go in and connect all the wires together and everything and send the ship off. They were putting out a full-grown ship in less than a month.
Wow. How many of them were working on it?
Oh, I don't know. There were a bunch of them, but
that would have
it was just the idea that it was a production line.
Right. Oh, that it just kept...
Sitting there waiting and having these steel plates brought in and build the frame. And, well, they'd have minor framework instead of having that whole thing. So yeah. But anyway, so your grandpa was on an ammunition ship, and ammunition ships were small ships. They'd be carrying anywhere from 600 to 800 tons of black powder all the time, because they had to go out to the convoys of the big ships and resupplying with powder and the ammo they needed.
Mm-hmm.
So, but one thing about it, during the whole Second World War, not one ammunition ship was ever sunk.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that. That's
one.
impressive.
And your grandpa one time tell me he lieutenant come down, which is equivalent to a captain. And they were being strafed by one of the Zeros, and they had a steel plate that they picked up off of the floor and set it in front of the gun so they could keep shooting, because the guns didn't have no thing on it. And this lieutenant come down and started yelling at my dad, because you know better to do that. By God, we'll never get that replaced. That is good material. We got to have that on the floor. And my dad, he says, and I turned around and I said, shut your mouth, and hit him. Knocked him down, and he's yelling for the CBs to come and get him, get the police come in to arrest him and all that. And he's busy telling his boys where to shoot at. They'd already downed about 3 Zeros. They got 300,000 ton of ammunition they're sitting on, and they had to get it. I think this was to Okinawa for the big 48-hour bombardment they were doing. And his captain wouldn't let this lieutenant do anything because, so what was this about? And he says, well, I use those steel plates in front of my people on the guns.
Right.
There's nothing there but their kneecaps,
Oh.
you know, and they're sitting staring at them, and they should have had that on it. He says, all right, when we get back in the port to reload, I want you to make sure they're welded on.
Okay, so Grandpa Carnahan.
Grandpa Carnahan was in, now he got drafted into the Navy, and it was after the war had already started.
That was World War II?
World War II.
Okay.
And he was sent to Hawaii. Ooh. And he was in Hawaii this whole tour of duty at Pearl Harbor. And he drove a fuel truck. He'd go down to the supply point, take it up, and load up the ships, and, you know, they'd take 100,000 gallons of fuel oil, whatever, and that was his job.
Huh.
And then, yeah, they called him Pop.
So you go across the board.
Well, he was, how old was he? 38?
Oh, so he was way older.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
And they were running out of people to draft. So
Really?
he had one child at that time, Aunt Janet, and they drafted him. And he had to go. He didn't have no choice.
Wow.
Bob Holland, he was an airplane pilot, bomber, over top of Germany all the time. Had a couple planes shot out from underneath him. Huh. Jim Holland was a gunner in the tail of one of them. Lois Knotts, was a tail gunner. It ain't one of the little guys for that.
Right, yeah, well, yeah.
So he was and the plane went down. He had to shoot out the back. Got caught. And he was in prisoner of war camp for the rest of his tour.
Oh.
And oh yeah, there's a lot of that went on.
Which brings us to you. So, what did you do?
I run around in the jungle.
In Vietnam, being awesome, being a badass.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I had to go out and find, you know, I did reconnaissance work where I go out by myself and kind of watch for enemy and take count of how many people there were, what kind of equipment they're driving, what are they bringing in from North Vietnam, all that information, and then I'd take it back. And occasionally they'd give me an assignment. If I see such and such a general, make sure they bury him before you know, they leave.
Whoa.
So I'd be up in the woods and take my shot, and I'd run like hell.
Back when you were quick on your feet.
Yeah. But that was about it. Then I was what they called Army Intelligence. I was assigned Army Intelligence. And I worked a lot with the CIA and the mercenaries.
Oh.
We had a lot of mercenaries.
Really?
We were all through Cambodia and Laos, but there wasn't no Americans there. They were mercenaries.
Oh.
See, that's how they got around it.
Uh-huh.
But,
Okay.
yeah, they paid them 3 times as much as they paid us. But so I got to know a lot of them guys. One time, I was in Saigon, in for a little R&R for a weekend, and one of my buddies from the mercenary comes up and he says, "Hey, what you doing?" I was just going in town, drink a bunch of beer, and that's about it. He says, "Come on, go with me." "Well, where are you going?" I got to make a quick airplane ride. So we get in that double-seater F-18 that goes about 2,500 miles an hour.
Oh, jeez.
And he says, "Hang on, we're going." And he takes off, and he says, "I'm going to make you puke and shit your pants." And I said, "I don't think so." Boy, come close. So he's going along like this, and all of a sudden he went, boom, straight up.
Oh.
And I go, where'd my gut go? Then he'd go up, and then he'd come straight down about, 10,000 feet straight down, and then bottom out again.
Oh.
And I said, "You done playing games up there?" And I said, "Where are we going?" He says, "We're going down to Sydney, Australia." Okie dokie.
Because of course we are.
2.5 hours later, we're in Sydney. And he had something he had to do, and then we went drinking beer in Sydney, and then I had to be back, so he flew me back. That was an interesting day. I got pictures with the same guy. He took me on a bomb run with him. Oof. And I got slides of that. You can see the
ooh,
all over the place.
like movies.
Yeah. He'd go in and he would drop his bombs and he'd say, hang on. He said, can you get your pictures now? I'm like, yeah, all right, yeah.